Okay, today we're going to look at using the proportion method to solve percent problems. A couple of things that we want to remember. There is a percent equation that helps us figure out where numbers go. We know that part is percent of the whole. Now, the word part and the word whole can sometimes have different names. So sometimes the whole number can actually be our starting number. It also may be our total. Whereas over here on the part side, sometimes that part is our ending number. Or when we get a little bit more into percents, it might be the tax or the tip that we're trying to figure out. This is a part of the whole. Now what's easy about this equation is that the is an equal sign. The percent will always have a percent symbol, and of means multiply. So what we're going to do is we are going to write our numbers out in an equation so that we can tell where things go. The second thing that we want to remember is that when we're looking at percents, it means a part over the whole. That means I will put the part in the numerator and the whole in the denominator. So let's go ahead and take a look at our equation up here. So notice that the part is in our numerator. So if we go ahead and take a look, where is our part? Our part is right here, right next to the word is. Then we take a look at our whole number and notice that the whole number is sitting next to the of. So that may look familiar to you because sometimes you can use the equation of is over of equals percent over 100. So if you have a hard time figuring out where, if you have a hard time figuring out where the numbers go, sometimes writing them out and circling the parts of the equation will help you to figure out where the numbers go. We'll practice a little bit of that as we go through the problem. Now, some steps to figuring out percent problems. The first thing you'll need to do is determine the meaning of your numbers. If it is in a word problem, you might be able just to get away with using part over whole, because they give you the part and they tell you the total number or the whole number, and you can just fill in part over whole equals percent over 100. If it's in equation form, then you can circle the is and the of. Circle the is and circle the of. And then you'll know exactly where to place them in your proportion. The second thing you will do is write the proportion. And once you have the proportion written, then you'll solve using cross multiplication. So let's go ahead and try a few. Our first ones are written in equation form. So notice that I have what is 45% of 120. So in this one, notice that my is sitting next to what? Now the is the equal sign. It's always sitting next to the part. And since there's only one number or unknown number here and there's two numbers on this side, I know that this belongs with the is. Then my other number of, well, percents are just percents and we know percent, so I leave that one alone. That means of 120, that means 120 is my whole number. So now I'm going to go ahead and write this as a proportion. If I remember, I'm going to put is over of just to remind myself. Is over of, is over of. So is my what? I don't know what that is, so I'm going to put x. My of is 120. Now that is equal to the percent over 100. So 45 over 100. So now I'm going to head and use cross multiplication, and I know that 120 times 45 is 5,400. I know that x times 100 is 100x. So when I go and divide both sides by 100, I get x is 54. So that means my part is 54. Now let's go ahead and look at number 2. 30 is what percent of 75? So the first thing I'm going to look at is, let's see, I'm missing my percent and my 75's on this side. So there's two numbers on this side. That means the is side has the 30 because there's only one number on the side where the is. Okay. Then I notice I am looking for my percent, my of 75. Since 75 does not have a percent sign, it goes with the of. So now I can remember my is over of. So 30 over 75 equals my percent, which is what I don't know, so I'm going to place an X over 100. So now I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply, and I know that 30 times 100 is 3,000, and 7 times X is 75X. I'm now going to divide both sides by 75, and I get X equals 40. So I was looking for my percent, so it is 40%. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3, and this time, notice that we're missing the of. We are missing the whole number. So go ahead and circle. Notice that I have my percent and my missing number on this side. So that means my is the 52. Okay. And since I'm missing my of, that's where my X is going to go. I'm missing that one. Okay, so now I have my is over of. So 52 over of. I don't know what of is, so I'm going to put an X. Then I'm going to put 65% over 100. To solve this, I'm going to take my X times 65, and I get 65X. And then I'm going to take 52 times 100, and I'm going to get 5,200. When I divide both sides by 65, I get X equals 80. So my whole number is 80. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. This one is a word problem. Let's go ahead and read it. A class of 6th graders has 40 learners. 24 of them are boys. What is the percent of boys in the class? Now what I've got to do is try to figure out what my whole number is, or what is my starting number. How many total 6th graders do we have? Well, right here it says we have 40 learners. So this is my whole number, or my starting number. It is my of. Okay, it's my whole number. Notice that 24 is my part. My part is going to be my is. But this one I actually remember we can put part over whole. Since 40 is our whole number, I'm going to put that here. And since 24 is our part, I'm going to put that in the numerator. Now what am I missing? I am actually missing the percent. So I have nothing to put up here, so I'm going to put an X over 100. So now I go ahead and cross multiply. I get 40 times X is 40X. And 24 times 100 is 2,400. When I divide both sides by 40, I get X is 60. And since I'm looking for percent, it is 60%. And that is my answer. And that is how you find percent problems using the proportion method.